I've started a new record label called Blackrock Recordings, which with a very good friend of mine, Mark Lawrence, who is he's actually the director at PRS, which is quite bizarre. But we're both based in Brighton and good friends, and so we've started this label publishing company, and basically we're looking for new talent, and we're signing young people, and what I'm doing, obviously, because I have the studio facility, we're helping them produce their records and mix them down to a high standard. We've had 2 releases so far. I think the third one comes out this Monday, and the label's going really well. The first release, obviously, I put one of my singles out, and good friends with Carl Cox, and I'm using him as my tester. He's probably a very good person to use as a tester, and he's been really supportive of all the music and been playing them regularly in space in his residency in Ibiza and on his radio shows. Steve Angelo's label at the moment from the Swedish House Mafia. I'm doing something for his new label, X Records, which is a project I'm actually going to start, which is we're not sure of the name yet, but we sort of come up with something like the Blackrock All Stars because of the label, because it's all the people that I'm working with, vocalists, musicians, programmers, are all involved in these tracks. So it's a collective of people coming to my studio. We're all working together and just making these a bit different from the norm, straight up house music, which you can bung a record together in a day and be done. But we're actually really going to town with these. We're, like I was telling you earlier, I was at my friend's studio on Monday and we're sampling old organs and stuff, and basically just carrying I've got one of them new little Prism Lyra converters and my laptop and a really good microphone, and we're just sticking them up against speakers and pressing each note, because you can't use auto sample because there's no MIDI, and we're just sampling all these different weird sounds and taking them back to the studio and turning them into something. So it's a really, really creative project. And on top of that, I've been producing, like the record I'm going to show you at the moment, it's a young guy called Tayon. He's a rapper, 21 years old. It's a lot of sort of hip-hop based stuff, and we've been doing some drum and bass records as well. I used to make a lot of drum and bass records when I was a kid, when I was about 20 years old, so I know that sort of side of it. And this record where I'm going to mess around in a moment is it's a disco record, which we've got a lot of live musicians in. And I've done about 300 remixes, which is quite a crazy amount. A couple of them that really come to mind was Amy Winehouse's Back to Black, which I did two versions of that, and there was one version that the record company wasn't very sure of, and so I sent it to Pete Tong, and he went mad over it and played it on the radio, and they didn't really want to put that mix out, and they thought he was going to play the other mix, and he played that mix, and then it ended up going out. Because it was just a little bit different to what they were expecting musically and everything, and they're going, oh, we can't put this out, this is too weird. But yeah, I like that mix a lot, yeah, it was a good one. People use parallel compression a lot, parallel equalization. There's other things like parallel distortion. If you've got sounds going in the background, say even vocals, bass sounds, stuff like that, synth sounds, and you just feel that they're just not full enough. They're not filling the mix quite enough. I think this sort of stuff is very, very important these days, especially saturation, distortion, because where we're working in a digital world, we're not getting the distortion that we used to get from tape and analog consoles. And I've been finding myself where I'm working in the box is doing these kind of tricks a hell of a lot more. Parallel batter. Right, so instantly you can hear. That's just one of the presets there, so I haven't touched anything. But I'll just mute all this, so it's just the instrumental of the track. And it's like, you know, parallel compression is a trick a lot's used just to bring out mainly the mids. You know, you take the attack off and leave the release open, so you don't really get the transients on parallel compression. But distortion, you're bringing up harmonics. Mute it. Really fills the background up. It really thickens the mix up, and I wouldn't do that on a whole stereo track, which, mind you, actually after doing that, I would use this and do quite a lot of separate tracks, drums especially, because you know, you just get all your sort of microphone feeds of cymbals and stuff, and that will bring that back in the background. Vocals it's really good on as well. Then, you know, you can add a little bit of equalization as well. So even with vocals, if you push the 3K area a bit to make the vocal a little bit more forward and it's a bit distortion, the trick is to have it quite low. Your parallel, it's just have it low, because all it's doing is you don't want to mess the original frequency up. Most of the synths I use in the box, like the DCAM stuff, I mostly use it for atmospheric stuff more than anything. Strings, I really like it, like the old what was it, the ARP, Salinas, that sort of type of yeah, like really sort of high stringy stuff. I really like I like it in the computer for that. It's just, I don't know, I like that sort of digital sheen of it. Bass wise, I still sort of work out the box a little bit, like an old Moog or something, and arpeggios and stuff, just like really creative stuff, just crazy bonkers things, stuff that you actually wouldn't come up with, you couldn't physically play, or it has to be computerized, and it's things that will just throw sounds around everywhere that you wouldn't think of really. That's where I mostly use the digital world.